Welcome back. So how will the Airbus Group set up its industrial footprint in India, and what product will lead its Make in India strategy?
The answer lies in this aircraft, the C-295W. The Ministry of Defence wants to replace its fleet of aging and obsolete Avro aircraft. The Airbus and the Tata Group has jointly bid for supplying 56 of these twin turboprop military aircraft to replace the obsolete Avros. If this consortium wins this order, it will be worth $2 billion in revenues.
We believe sincerely that it's going to be a major induction into the Indian Armed Forces. We also believe it's going to be a quick win project which is going to be appreciated by all stakeholders right from Government of India, MOD and the end customer, including the Indian industry and Airbus. And this is for us something, a tangible Make in India project. And we would like to really demonstrate to Government of India and to the end customer that Make in India can be successfully delivered with C-295 program.
In order to align the C-295W to Make in India, the Tata Airbus consortium has offered to build the aircraft in India itself. This means setting up a full assembly line in the country.
We are keen to set up the FAL, the final assembly line. We have partnered, as you are aware, we have partnered with Tata Advanced Systems Limited. We would be establishing together with Tata the FAL in India to support the program for Avro replacement to begin with. But we have long-term interest in India, also keeping in mind the forthcoming opportunities beyond Avro replacement.
But Airbus does not just want to set up an assembly line in India. The aerospace giant wants to have a full-fledged network of suppliers for the C-295W. This also means that the company can use India as a hub for exports of this military transport aircraft.
Setting up a FAL is one part, the final assembly line is one part of what we'd be doing here. But really what comes along with it is we'd like to build on our experience of buying in India and set up a real industrial ecosystem under the FAL or around the FAL. Because setting up an industry is not something you can do top-down by having just the final assembly line. Setting up an industry is something you do by making sure you have plenty of players that are all competitive and all participate into this.
Interestingly, the Tata Airbus consortium won't be a joint venture and instead be a contractual relationship. So is the aerospace major averse to an equity partnership in India?
But actually, joint ventures will be part of the strategy, but not only joint ventures. There are so many different ways you can work together in this industry. So, for instance, in the case of the C-295, we talked about what we'll do with Tata. It will not be a joint venture partnership. It will be actually a contractual partnership between Tata and us.
While the C-295W is a significant part of its India strategy, helicopters also carry a significant weight in Airbus Group's plans in India. There are several lucrative orders in the defense helicopter space, and Airbus has already offered 3 helicopters. The first in the series is the AS-565 MBE or the Panther for the Naval Utility Helicopter Program, through which the Indian Navy wants to procure 100 helicopters. The second helicopter is the H-225M. This helicopter will compete for 2 programs. The Naval Multi-Role Helicopter, the Indian Navy needs 120 of these, and 14 helicopters that the Coast Guard wants to buy. The third helicopter that is on offer is the H-125M Fennec that will vie for the reconnaissance and surveillance helicopter program of the Indian Army and the Indian Air Force. The requirement here is for 200 units. To target these lucrative contracts, Airbus has tied up with Mahindra Defence through an MOU. If Airbus Helicopters wins this contract, then the MOU will be upgraded to a JV. Meanwhile, Airbus and Mahindra are already scouting for locations of setting up a full assembly line for these helicopters. Moreover, they are also taking steps to set up a supply chain.
JV formation is underway. As you know, we have established a MOU last year. This partnership between Mahindra Defence and Airbus Helicopters was, by the way, recently reinforced, on the occasion of French President Hollande visit in January, and letter of intent was signed on this occasion in presence of Prime Minister Modi and President Hollande. Parallelly, we are currently, assessing different industrial sites, assessing also the local supply chain.
So if the aerospace major wins any of these contracts, how much investment could flow into India? Will Airbus Group invest on its own, or will its Indian partners pump in the money?
In terms of investments, we've made rough calculations because really it depends what form it's going to take, what we're retained for, etc. But we're currently contemplating investments consolidated with our partners of about 5,000 crores. We think these 5,000 crores, provided we win on both the C295 side, provided we're able to bring a good helicopter project over, would create a minimum of 10,000 jobs. And that is on top of 6,000 jobs that already exist in India due to us. So there is a substantial contribution, and we're thinking of high-value jobs.
The Airbus Group currently has 500 direct employees in India, and 80% of these are engineers who work on core solutions related to structural analysis, modeling, simulation, avionics and software design. Clearly, the group will be scaling up its India bench strength, but at the same time, its supplier base will also have to upgrade its skill and capabilities. Are Indian suppliers ready to take on the challenge?
Listen, your Indian industry, the private industry is ambitious, it is energetic, it has plenty of talent, and in my opinion, it has a recipe for success. Now, it's not starting always from the right standards, and as you know, we have very exacting standards in aerospace. They have to reach the levels and the standards that are necessary in what is really a worldwide market. We as a company are known for being very proactive and very interactive with our suppliers. So selecting is one process, and of course certifying, qualifying, but then we hold their hands, I would say, and we make sure that they reach these standards. We give them all the help we can, and that they maintain these standards, because industry is a long-term thing, and you should never let down your efforts.
While the defense and aerospace strategy is clearly laid out, what is Airbus Group's plan on the civilian side? While IATA predicts that India will be the world's third largest civilian aviation market by 2026, a KPMG FICCI report says that India will be in the top 3 position by as early as 2020. Airbus wants to ensure that it maintains leadership position in India.
A lot of the expectations are actually already in the order book, and as you know, we have more than 70% of the commercial aircraft market over here. We have some 500 airplanes in the order book, A320neos, like the one we delivered recently to IndiGo. It's been a very good market. What we need to do now is to follow up and make sure that beyond selling just the platforms, the aircraft themselves, we also provide the services. And so this is why we've announced recently, you've heard it probably, the installation of a training center for pilots that we have in Delhi. We've already been training technicians for a while. It's very important, because the better the services around the platforms, the better the operators will be able to use these aircraft for the benefit of the traveler.
One of Airbus Group's biggest customers is IndiGo, which operates a fleet of A320s. But recently there were problems on that front as the OEM delayed delivery of the A320neos to the Indian operator.
Listen, what we're talking about is what we call teething problems in the case of a child. It happens at one phase in life, and that's why launch customers are important to us. They accept to take these risks. They may grumble a bit, but actually they've been very gracious about it. I think the problems are being solved, and again, as a child, it only happens early in life, but then the problem is resolved.
Airbus is also looking closely at the civilian and non-defense helicopter market. Currently, 80 of its helicopters are flown by civilian operators in sectors like oil and gas, commercial and business aviation. In fact, Pawan Hans now owns the world's largest fleet of Dauphin helicopters, which have clocked over 500,000 flight hours. And now Airbus is looking at new segments in the civil helicopter space.
It's very promising, because we really have to unleash, many segments of the civil aviation, in terms of helicopters, air ambulance, power grid, police. All these segments are nascent in India, and we have big expectations, and we are working actively, with the authorities in order to support them. We are in civil and parapublic market, we are the world leader, in the helicopter industry as Airbus helicopter. So to share experiences we have in different countries, and we hope all for the best, for really development.
While Airbus targets new segments in the civilian segment, it believes that the new aviation policy, which seeks to boost regional connectivity, will be a game changer for both aircraft and helicopter business.
The connectivity aspect of that policy is going to be extremely important. For us, it is an opportunity. It's an opportunity for the helicopters. It's an opportunity for another joint venture that we have with the Italians, which is a solution called ATR. I'm very partial to ATR because I started my career in this group at ATR, so it's a personal thing. But they offer a wonderful product that's been around for a while, but it's extremely robust, extremely cheap to operate, and really answers perfectly well the needs of the smaller airports that will be open. And when these airports develop, because the demand will be there, then these airports will be able to bring in bigger airplanes, and hopefully these will be A320s.
So be it the Airbus A320neo, the C295W military aircraft or the Panther helicopters, the Airbus Group has its trajectory mapped out in India. And it's not just about selling products here. It's also about making India a manufacturing and an export hub. It remains to be seen if this aerospace major is able to stretch its wings in the Indian skies. Thank you for watching CNBC-TV18.